where we welcome all bodies to join us as we break down and dissect HBO series. You also might be watching us today as well. I don't know. Or, yeah.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers. And we are having a double feature. We have decided, in the words of Tabby from the Orpheum, we're having a double feature. We're breaking down episodes 9 and 10 together, we decided, because why not?
And it kind of like they go together in a way
Yeah.
of like all the pieces coming together. So
Yes.
it makes sense.
Yeah, and when these episodes were released, they did 8, 9, and 10 together. So
Mm,
there you go.
makes sense.
Okay, so episode 9, chapter 9 is called Dead and Buried. Okay, so the girls decide to confront the moms. And after Imogen tells them, are the moms all drinking red wine again? I feel like they're always drinking red
Mhm.
wine, right?
Hence why I poured the red wine tonight.
Yeah, it's
I
funny because
switched
last
over.
night, yeah, well, it's the season sorta. Last night we went out to celebrate our anniversary, and I was like, "I really want a glass of wine, red." I wanted a red, and
Yeah.
I'm not usually a red. So,
hmm
it's the influence of Pretty Little Liars.
Right. I know. Or what was I watching? Another show. I can't remember. Maybe it was Sweet Magnolias, and they always drink margaritas, and I always want a
Ah,
margarita when I'm watching the show.
yes,
I'm
yes,
telling
I
you.
remember that. Mhm.
Ugh,
Power of
easily influenced.
suggestion. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so they confront them, and after Imogen tells them the crazy Joe story, they finally confess all the horrible things they did to Angela. Um,
Mhm.
and it's really funny because they're like, "Why? Just why?" And Elodie's like, "Girls were meaner in the '90s." Just thought that
I
was funny.
mean, yeah.
Do you think they were meaner in the '90s than the '80s? What do you think? And do you think they're not
I
meaner
mean,
now than they were in the '90s? I feel like there's
yeah, I feel like
actually I
girls
don't
just
know.
get meaner. I don't know. Maybe it's just a
I would think they're
different way
meaner
of
and meaner.
bullying now, though.
Mm, yeah,
Right? They have social media and stuff like that, and we didn't
yeah, yeah.
have all that. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. I don't know, I'll be honest, what it's like,
I mean,
any
I
high
hear
school.
stories
Yeah.
of like my friends that have kids that are in high school right now, and
Mm,
it's,
yeah.
at a big high school, you kind of have your little, I don't know, there's little stories and niches, but maybe you can escape some of that. I don't know. Put your head
Yeah.
down.
It's
I don't
sad.
know.
It's so sad.
It's really awful.
So sad and not right. People are like, "Well, that's just" no, it shouldn't be that way. Why should these
No.
kids if you were in a workplace and things like this were happening?
Hmm.
Absolutely not.
Good
But how
point.
come for some
Mhm.
reason it's like, "Oh, well, we can only do so much." It's like,
Kids will be
can you though?
kids.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Okay. I had a thought during this that Tabby, I think they do kind of actually, this is mentioned later, but I was like, oh, Tabby was assaulted just like Angela was. And
Mhm.
was it Sydney the one Angela told? Wasn't it Sydney or was it Corey? Or maybe it was Corey.
Oh,
Oh no, I think it
now I
was. It
don't
was
know.
silence kills. Yes, because Sydney got the silence kills, right? Yes, because
Oh.
Corey was the one who did the tattoo trick. So, I just
Oh,
found that interesting that
okay.
Tabby was assaulted as Angela
Mhm.
Waters was, and Sydney was the one
Right.
that was told it, and that's her daughter
Mm.
who got
Mm.
assaulted. So it's like,
Mm.
hmm,
Hmm.
okay. Um, basically after that, Sydney's like, "Let's move on now, be done," right?
Yeah.
Alright, now we're at Noah. I think, yeah, Noah's at her house, and Marjorie wants to get clean on her own. Hmm. She wants Noah to
Oh, yeah.
stay at Sean's. She reached out
Yeah,
to this sponsor named Grace who's gonna help her,
Yeah.
and Noah
We
has to
don't
cover
really
her
see
shifts.
Grace.
No, never see
Yeah,
Grace.
no, it's just gonna cover the shifts down at the
And boat pizza.
no training or anything. She's just gonna jump right in, and it's
Yeah,
okay.
and they're like, "Okay."
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can just detox at the house. No big
yeah,
deal with your
because
sponsor.
that usually works. That
Right.
usually does work. She's like, "I'm a
Just
nurse. I
yeah,
know how to
just
do it."
go through the withdrawal by
Yeah,
yourself with no
you know?
support.
Yeah, like, a
Well,
speech
I mean,
pathologist, I guess I
your
could give myself.
sponsor, but
Could you give yourself
what?
therapy because 'cause you're a psychologist? No.
Heck no.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
nurse is gonna detox herself like she's a nurse
Mm,
to a patient, so
right. She knows what
I'm
to do.
I'm a speech pathologist, I guess I'll give myself I mean, I do give myself probably speech therapy every day.
Mm. Listen, there's all kinds of self-talk going on
But
in this brain, but,
yeah.
you know,
If it work does it
so
work?
much
Does it
so
work
much.
so much?
Oh, yeah, it's fabulous.
Am I an effective communicator? Fuzz on my
Now what do
face.
you got? Oh,
I'm
okay.
a mess. I
Teeth,
don't know.
something in your teeth last week.
Mm,
Got
2 weeks
fuzz.
ago.
I don't know what.
Keeping it real, people. We're keeping it
Yeah, listen.
real. You look like you're in dungeon sort of now. I mean, I'm glad your face is lit
I
up,
told you.
but at least you're
Didn't
not
I tell you
blue.
I feel like I'm in the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Hoo-yah. All right. So then she goes to Sean's house, Noah, and she tells him that her mom has the flu. She doesn't want to catch it. It's like you would have caught it
Right.
already because you were with your mom, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, I noticed Sean seems to have the nicest house. Of all the houses
He
we
does have a
see, he
nice
has
place.
like
Yes.
it's not modern, but it's like definitely looks nicer, homier,
Yeah.
more welcoming,
Yes.
better decorating job going on. So, all right, now we're Tabby, and Sydney comes in to talk to her. And she's like, "What about going to the police? Like, maybe we should go to the police about this." And she's like,
Mhm.
"Well, you know, Imogen was also raped and they think it's the same guy." Like, she's pushing her off to
Yeah.
go to the police because of the blood drive, blood stuff.
Right.
Then we go back to Noah and Sean. She wakes up and he's not in the bed and she's freaking out and he's doing sit ups, which is kind of odd
Mm.
in the middle of the night,
Mhm.
which I think that's what
Right.
whatever he's taking can do to him, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm not an addict." Oh, she brings up the pills. He's like, "I'm not an addict." And we do find out she did take the inhaler once and she threw it away. And he asks him to
Mhm.
stop. She asks him to stop. He's like, he will, but he can't do it cold turkey. He has to wean himself off.
Mm.
Anyway, then we go to Imogen. She's having a nightmare about her mom. She sees A in her dream. She screams her
Ugh.
head off, and no one woke up. Like
Ooh.
they didn't. Nobody was like. I mean, I maybe they just didn't want to do that as a scene,
Nobody
but like
came
nobody came
flying
in
in
and
the
was like,
room?
"Holy crap, are you okay?" Like
Are
we
you
have a
okay? Right.
masked man nut job
Mhm.
running around killing people. She's
Mhm.
pregnant. Anyway, then we go to Farron. She decides to keep her hair naturally curly. That was the scene.
I'm
She was about to
I'm
straighten it.
digging it.
She's like, "Yeah, me too." She's like, "Screw it."
I also was like, "Wait, is your hair wet? You're about to run that straightener through?
I
Like,
know.
can
I
you
thought of that
slow
too.
down?"
That would like
It's
totally
just I
burnt
was
it.
thinking, like, is she not paying attention? She's just gonna fry her hair off,
I
or what's
know.
going on here?
And that means too,
But,
like she's because they're insinuating like that she basically straightens her hair literally every single day.
I've
Where
y yeah.
normally I think there's a curl relaxer going on, but I'm not an expert. But that's a lot of work. So she's, like the swimming, the ballet, and then her hair is perfectly had been, perfectly straight.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
I was digging the, natural
Oh
curl.
yeah. It was great.
Yeah, I
Beautiful.
liked it.
Yeah. Um, now we go to Tabagen and Imogen questions Crazy Joe. Oh, they're walking, not questions the actual Crazy Joe. They're
This is
questions,
like walking through
was
the
it
neighborhood, right?
yeah, yeah, and she's, like,
Yeah.
questioning if Crazy Joe is A, like, what if he
Mhm.
wasn't? A might have killed him, stages suicide, and then she's like, "Maybe that's what happened to my mom." And Tabby's like,
Mhm.
"How would you find out?" And she's like, "I'll go to the coroner because there's a coroner right in town also that she can walk to.
Mhm.
There's a coroner, a plastic surgeon. What was the other one? There was another one
Um,
that we discovered
some
last.
medical thing, wasn't there?
What was plastic surgeon?
Oh, they have it all there, though.
Yeah.
Everything.
We're not gonna say, like, the finest, but because we don't really know.
I mean, only one restaurant, but they
One
got
restaurant.
all the things.
Mhm.
Just it's pizza every night.
Yeah. Okay. We're with Kelly, Karen, whoever it is. She can't
Mhm.
help Father Karras. I guess she was gonna help him, the church, because she's gonna
Yes.
work on a dance piece with Farron. Dad is pissed. He's like, "I was relieved when you quit dance. You're not as good a dancer as Karen." I mean, he's just, like, terribly She calls him a drunk bully, and he's like, "If there was any justice in this world, it would have been you who slipped, not Karen." And she was like, "F you!" And then
Mhm.
mom's like, "You're so troubled and tortured." Um, then we go to Mouse.
Yeah,
Sh
that was
Yeah,
ugh.
I mean, there's no side to him that you like
Mm-mm.
at all. Yeah,
No. 0.
no. Mouse is upset about her moms. Ash has a plan to parent trap them.
Did you
What?
when this when they were like she said something about Lindsay Lohan, I was like,
Yes.
"Come on. That's not even like the good Parent Trap movie."
Like the old school Parent Trap, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the one
Yeah.
with Haley Mills, 'member?
Yeah.
That's the one I always
Yeah.
watched,
I
like,
know that
a million
well, they
times.
had to
I
be
don't
Lindsay Lohan because
I mean,
they're
that's their
young.
time, but, like,
Yeah.
these moms should have introduced them
I
to the
know,
original.
totally. Disappointing.
I don't know if that movie really needed to be redone. I don't know. I'm sure it was cute with Lindsay Lohan. I don't know,
She
but
also she also redid Parent Freaky Friday.
A Freaky Friday,
Yeah.
another great movie. Like,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do The Breakfast Club next or,
No.
I mean,
Absolutely
Christmas
not.
Vacation? Like, these are
No.
just not
No.
they are not needed to
Anyway.
anyway,
Okay.
I'm down for
Imogen.
some Parent Trap. I love that movie.
Yeah. Imogen is getting a
It's a
checkup
good one.
with the nurse, and Chip wanted to
I
come.
This is her prenatal care?
I know. She just is touching her stomach with the stethoscope. I was like, "No."
N no
I hope she
ultrasound
actually
or
goes to
anything.
an
We're
actual
just
doctor as well.
I hope so.
Yeah. Chip wanted to come,
Hmm.
and she's like, "Please stay calm
Are
and
you
no
getting the
outside."
creepy vibes on
Oh,
Chip
yeah,
now?
totally creepy now.
Like, mm.
There's no outside stay calm and no outside stressors. Okay, and she's like, "Yeah, I'd like to dig up I'd like to find out what happened to my mom. We're gonna go after the crazy masked killer." Yeah. Yeah, it's funny.
Right.
Okay, we're all in the cafeteria. Everyone is loving Farron's hair. She's
Mm.
choreographing a dance piece with Kelly and Henry, based off of
Yep.
Adam and Eve. You know what's really funny? The first time I watched this, I don't remember this part. I must have just not cared. This is the second time of me watching this, and I'm like, I remember them dancing. I really didn't realize that Farron was choreographing it. I don't know
Yeah.
what. I think I was just like, I just want to get to the what's going on here. I don't know.
Like, let's get yeah, this is all fluff
It
to
is
me.
fluff, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
she said, now it was cute because Farron told Tabby that she inspired her because Tabby, ever
Mhm.
since when Tabby did the film with her in it, and
Mhm.
anyway, Kelly walks in basically as Karen, dressed as Karen,
Yes.
acting like Karen, walking like Karen. Maybe she is Karen. I don't know. Now we're at the Orpheum.
Mhm.
Tabby shows Wes her plan for the film. He's impressed. He doesn't even have notes for her, and he offers to lend her his film equipment. Then we go to Imogen. She asks coroner for the autopsy, and of course, she needs to file a petition with the county sheriff because
Yes.
it's all
Yeah.
yeah, everything goes through him apparently. Um,
Yeah.
Farron, we find out that Kelly kissed Henry when they were practicing.
Mm.
She says she got caught up in the moment. Farron's like, "I'm gonna talk to her about this." And then she
Mhm.
asked him if he likes her new look, and he says, "Of course." And then the mom walks in, and I'm like, "Ew," because he goes in for a second kiss. I'm like, "What the hell with being allowed in your room?" Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that just I was allowed, I hate to say, my high school boyfriend's bedroom, but that was at his house, and my
We
parents
had to
didn't
leave
know
the door
that.
open.
Yeah, we didn't.
Is that a rule in your house? No?
Not well, nobody was
Yeah, we had
allowed
to
in
leave the
my
door open.
house. No boy was allowed in my
Oh, in my
bedroom,
yeah. Oh,
ever.
okay. Yeah. We had
Absolutely
to leave
not.
the door open at my house.
So you could have
Mhm.
a boy over in your bedroom even?
Mhm.
Oh my god. But why
Yeah.
would you even go in there if you had to leave the door open? I'm sorry, I don't
I had a TV in there, and
oh,
I mean,
I
back
didn't
then,
have
we
that.
would watch TV,
Right.
hang out,
Yeah, no. No, see,
but
my
instead of hanging out in the living room with my dad watching Seinfeld, like, we would go in my
right.
room, and I don't even know what was on
I just
back
don't
then.
even think we hung
Yep.
out that much in my house. So, his
Yeah.
house was actually, like it's kinda like your house because that your house is kind of your house now, like a raised ranch sorta like, where there's the
Yeah.
downstairs, everything's kinda upstairs, but downstairs there
Yeah.
is a room and a bedroom. That was his set
Mhm.
actually, I think it was just his bedroom down there. His bedroom was down there.
Oh, okay.
She had 4 boys. He was, like, the 3rd out of the 4 maybe, or no, sorry, no, he was Oh,
Yeah.
no, she had 5 boys, I'm sorry, there's 5 of them. He was the 3rd out of the 5. They did whatever the heck they wanted. I mean, nobody was saying anything, and my parents didn't know, so anyway.
Yeah, we didn't have, like, another family space, I remember well, we did, but it was always used. If I went to my boyfriend's house, I remember in high school, like, we would hang out in, like, the family room. There was, like, more hangout spots,
Uh-huh.
whereas my house, it was just, like, a different setup,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
like, my mom might be in the back room, and then my dad was in the regular living room, so, and I had, like, a bedroom right next to the living room, like, right there,
yeah.
so we would have to leave the door open or whatever and
Oh my
hang out,
god,
but
it's
yeah,
so funny. Okay,
it's
yeah.
crazy to think about that. Anyway.
Alright, now we
I
go
will
to
not allow my children to do that, by the way. No, no
duh,
way.
duh, mom and dad, duh, or
No,
mom and mom, or dad and dad,
no.
duh. Sorry, that's
Well,
all I
we
have to
have,
say.
like you
Duh.
said, like, our house, like, we could be upstairs and then, like, let's say, my older
Would you
son
let
when
them
that
though hang out
happens, right? He can
downstairs?
hang out.
You really think they're not sneaking
I have a
anything in?
staircase right there
Doesn't matter.
in the
Kids
how do I
doesn't matter.
no, because I can just walk right
I'm not saying they're gonna go all
that.
there's
Right.
ugh, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, I don't wanna think about that. I'm sure you don't either. Let's not think about that right now. Okay.
Alright, it'll be completely chaperoned.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even wanna. Okay. Mouse with the Parent Trap. There I'm like, "Parent Trap," and I did the like, this again, this
Yeah.
part was like, I don't know,
Yeah,
kinda
okay,
dopey.
yeah.
Uh, they're at the pizza place.
Didn't they trap him at the pizza
How we
place?
didn't see how they trapped him. Were they like was she like, "Mom, can you come to the pizza place? Mom, can you come to the pizza place?" They're like, "Okay. You
Sure.
parent trapped us." I mean, like anyway. Okay. So Ash is there. Noah's waitressing. Oh, this is the part I thought was funny. So Noah comes up. She's like, refills on the house. I was like, of what? What are you alluding to?
Of
Free slices, free bread. There was like a
yeah.
bread basket kind of thing, water, drinks, alcohol. Like
Aren't sodas
she's
free
like free
refills anyway,
refills,
anywhere you
but like she
go?
was giving them the food. I was like, yo, I don't think you're
Maybe
supposed to be doing
breadsticks?
that.
Do they give out breadsticks?
I
No.
we don't know what was in the basket. I couldn't see it. She had a basket though. By the way, restaurants don't give out bread anymore. Just FYI. Did you notice that? Last night, did they give out
What do you
bread to
mean?
you? Where'd you go last night?
Uh, I ended up at the Dixon. We
You could have
bailed
met
on
up
our
with
other
me.
yeah,
Duh. I was right in
could've. I didn't wanna
Woodstock.
intrude, it was your anniversary.
We were at
You
Early
know?
Terrible in the middle of town where
Um,
everybody is surrounding you. There's a ton.
yeah, but, romantic night, you and Dave sharing a glass of wine over a fire, you know,
Yeah. Okay.
holding
Well,
hands.
did they have a bread basket?
Um,
And we're gonna not talk
no,
about
they
this
don't
for
have a
too.
basket
People
there.
aren't doing bread baskets
Okay,
like they used to.
listen. Yes, they
They're
are.
not.
I went to a place in Rhinebeck, 2 weeks ago, and I got a bread
Okay.
basket.
But that's one.
I mean,
No. I went to the new
alright, I'm gonna
restaurant in
keep track
Sorgeties,
now.
Salt and Fire. I don't think we got a bread
No
basket.
bread basket?
I think you have to, like, I don't think we got a bread basket. No.
I mean, you
We
go
even
down to
talked
the
about it.
Armadillo and you get chips and
So that's
salsa.
different, yep. There's stuff with bread.
Alright,
It's
we
either
you and I have
we're on a
a
mission.
dinner coming
We
up,
do.
so let's take bets.
Yeah.
I say they give
Maybe
us
we
bread.
even tell the restaurant, we're like, "We're doing a study, so if we can get a discount, we will promote your restaurant." We're doing
I don't
scientific
think they need to
research.
promote
We won't tell them about
I
what.
don't think they need us to promote.
Yes, they do. Okay, let's just keep going here.
Let's keep going here,
So
but
they're at the
anyway.
restaurant. Elodie decides to ask a rude question, asking Ash what it's like to be a young trans man in Millwood. I don't know. Mouse
This
is
was,
mortified.
again,
I know.
a little more
I'll be
fluff.
honest.
We know they're gonna get back together. I didn't,
I know. Yeah. So okay.
I
Then they're FaceTiming, and she's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed." Ash asks if she ever met up with her dad. She's like, "Yeah, we reconnected on Thanksgiving." And Ash is like, "Hey, we could hang out and if you want to." And she's like, "Yes." And she looks at her laptop.
oh, yeah.
Now, I just want to say a thing. Ash thought he met her dad at the bowling alley.
Correct. Yes.
Steve. Then she's like, "Would you meet your birth parents if you could?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Oh, did you
Mhm.
connect with your dad?" And she's like, "We did." So, uh, in his mind, because she never said to
I
him, "That's not my
yeah,
dad."
yeah.
So, I think they might have messed that
Yes,
storyline up a little bit. Did they forget that Ash met
that we
Steve
already
and that
that he already met, yeah.
so and I didn't
Mhm.
notice this
That I
until the
didn't even pick
second
that
time
up
around.
at
Well,
all.
it took me the second time around to notice that. So,
Mm.
I like the show. I sound like I'm ripping it apart, but I really
Yeah, no, no, no,
there's just
no,
these little
just
things that I get
nobody
stuck
caught that in
on.
the editing room.
No.
They just f
Like, that storyline doesn't totally go together. Doesn't line up. Okay. Noah is behind
yeah.
Pinball Pizza, that sketchy area that is not in Sorgady's.
Mm,
I feel like it's probably at
mm-mm.
the studio or whatever. Uh, the drug dealer shows up for the tip money because that's the habit of, that's what her mom does. And she's like, raw.
Yep.
Then we have Tabby. She comes home late from work. She's working on a film. Wes gave her a ride. Sydney starts thinking about how Wes gave her
Mm,
a ride another night. Imogen. She's at the sheriff's office. And he's being a you know what, of course. And she brings up if he
uh-huh.
could know what really happened to Karen in the Raptors, wouldn't he want to know? He's like, I'll help you, but you need an adult next of kin, her dad. So we're finally gonna meet another dad.
Yeah.
Farron brings up the kiss to Kelly. She's like, it was an accident. I'm like, I don't know about an accident. Apologizes, says things
Mm-mm.
have been intense at home. Then her leg is bleeding. She's
Mhm.
like, it's my period. Then Farron sees her sewing kit with blood all
Mm.
over. Do you hear my husband?
Yep.
No, okay. Do you hear my
Yep.
husband? Okay.
Mhm.
Farron sees her sewing kit with blood on the scissors. Of course, it's like right there. She closes up the sewing kit. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Um, Farron. So then, like, she's like, talk to me. They sit. She says it, Kelly's like, it's
Yeah.
my dad. He's gotten worse. And Farron calls him a lunatic. Don't listen to him. She says sometimes she wishes this same thing that her dad said that she was Karen or she was the one. And Farron's like,
Mm.
tells her to talk to him, then asks why then Kelly's like, why are you being so nice to her? Wait, which one says that? Yeah, no. Kelly says that to Farron. Why are you being so nice to her? She's like, I want to break
Yes.
the cycle. Anyway, so Noah, Sean
Yeah.
walks in and is like, oh, sorry, into Pinball Pizza. Sean walks in with his buddies and
Yes.
he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, what are you doing here? Don't you have
Mhm.
basketball? Um,
Mhm.
and basically she tells him the truth and then she finds out that he threw out the pills. He's like, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, sure thing.
So then Sydney, Tabby texts about working late again and Wes is giving her a ride. This was one of my favorite scenes
Mm.
of the whole entire
Yes.
series.
This was
Yeah.
good.
And
Yeah.
we were chatting about it in the admin Facebook group and someone said it was the best line ever. Okay.
Yeah, this was really good and totally could see myself
Doing the
doing
same thing.
this.
Yep. So she goes to
Oh,
the
yeah, absolutely,
Orpheum and
100%.
comes for Wes, and she's like, "How old are you
Mhm.
anyway? 30?" And I love his answers like, "In my 20s." Why couldn't he give her a number, like a number? Like, I almost felt like he was describing his character if somebody asked. They're like, "Well, how old is Wes?" They're like, "In his 20s." I don't know. So he's like, "In my 20s?" I don't know. So I thought that was funny. Favorite line of the series, "If I see you within 10 feet of my daughter, I will cut your effing you know what
Uh-huh.
off." Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it was great. Well, I told the story. I
Absolutely.
won't go into the whole entire story that a guy was bothering a girl and he pulled his pants down. We were outside. I told you the story, right? Outside on Albany
Yes, yes,
Street,
yes,
and
yes,
I
yes.
said, "I'm
Yeah.
going to take your you know what and
Mhm.
shove it up your
Mhm.
ASS." That's what I said. So don't ask me how I would do that, but yeah. Anyway, Chip comes down the
Fun.
steps at the Orpheum. Oh yeah, after they
Mm.
leave, and he's like, "Huh?" Right?
Yeah.
Oh, where am I here? Oh, they're home. And Tabby tells her mom their plan and says, oh, if there's a match, then she'll go to someone and tell, right?
Yes.
Sydney
Yeah.
says she'll talk to Corey to see if there's anything she can help them with. Mouse, here we go, is at the
Right.
bowling alley with Steve. And I was like, guess
Ugh.
he's role playing for her now. And then he gets a call. Then we go to
Right.
Farron. She goes to the sheriff to talk about Kelly cutting herself and says she's cutting herself because,
Mhm.
he's emotionally abusing her and tells him she knows about the boy. And this is a great part when he's like,
This was also a good
really good
scene for
scene.
her.
Yeah, I liked this scene.
I
This
liked
was not
this.
fluff. It was good.
Mhm.
He says, well, that
Mhm.
Bolivar, I think that's her last name, right? He calls everybody by their last name. Better keep her mouth shut or yes, she didn't keep her mouth shut. And I love that she's like, Noah didn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
She threatens him that she'll tell on him if he does anything to Kelly and that he should step down as the community service leader, right? Or something like that, whatever he is there.
Mhm.
Mouse, Steve is a mess after his phone call. He's like, "Don't effing call," like, he gets real rough. He's like, "Don't call him
Mhm.
dad."
Mhm.
Ash, I'm sure, is like, "What the heck is going on here?"
What is
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Tabby's at the Orpheum. Chip asks what that was about with her mom and asks if Wes was ever inappropriate. She's like, "Well, once he tried to make a move." And she's like, "Are you jealous?" And I thought you were into, she doesn't talk like that. She doesn't say, "Are you jealous?" She doesn't talk, sorry. "Are you jealous? I thought you were into Imogen." And he says, "Only because she wasn't into him." It's like, "Oh God, dude."
Mhm.
She's like, "What?
Here we go.
I don't want to see Imogen get hurt." He says he's into Imogen and wants her to stay away from Wes because he said stuff about her. Blah blah blah.
Mm.
Um, Imogen.
Yeah.
So I thought this was kind of funny, and I did ask Erica about it, but she didn't text me back. Imogen's dad's name is Sawyer. The Sorority's mascot are the Sawyers,
The
which is
Sawyers.
really
Think they
weird.
just came up with
It's a
that?
person who works in a sawmill.
Yeah.
And I remember I was always like,
Yeah.
"What? Why?" Like, I remember trying to explain to people who didn't live in Sororities, were like, "Well, it's a sawmill person who works at a sawmill." I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?" Anyway, it sounds good though. Look at these Sawyers.
Yeah.
Asks for him to sign the permission slip. I'm calling it a permission slip. I don't think it's really called that. We learned that
Permission slip, the petition?
to
Permission
to
slip.
exhume her
"Can I
body.
go to the field trip? I
I
need
need can we
$3 and a
Yeah,
brown
yeah.
bag lunch."
We learned that Davy had struggled on and off with depression. She went to a therapist. She
Mm.
was on meds. It was up and down. Says one New Year's Eve, she even took a combo of alcohol and pills. He thought it was something that happened in high school. Imogen was like, that's not the mom that she knew. And he said she completely emerged from her depression when she got pregnant with her, basically. Asks
Right.
him why he didn't want her, Imogen. And he says he couldn't take
Mm.
care of her. Not what her mom wanted.
Yep.
Wanted her to go to Sydney.
Yep.
He signs the permission slip. So Sydney can go
Yep.
on her field trip to the cemetery. No. So um and he said that he goes, yeah, he basically agreed with her and said, your mom would never choose to leave you. So then we go to Tabby, thinking about Wes, and then the party at Karen's, and back there when Chip kissed her, and she said, like, basically, we're in the
Mhm.
friend zone. And then she's thinking about how Imogen got raped that same night. And is she thinking about this too because her mom was like, it's 9 times out of 10 or something like that, that it's someone you know?
Somebody you
Yeah.
know.
So then
Yeah.
Noah gets a call from her mom, and they all
Mhm.
gather in the bathroom, and there's a match from one of the cotton balls from the blood drive. So meanwhile, I was
Yep.
thinking Tyler's missing, by the way, and no one's talking about it. No one's like, "Where's
No, still
Tyler?"
not
No
talking about it.
vigils,
Mhm.
nothing. Done. Just like
Mm-mm.
the custodian who died. Nobody did anything about that either. Remember?
But
Remember the custodian got murdered?
also, I may have missed something here, I'm not putting the piece together here, so help me out. Why was he killed again?
Which
What did
one?
he
The
do?
custodian?
Tyler. No, Tyler.
Tyler was killed, I
Did he
think.
do something that I
Well, I think because he was being a jerk to the girls at the party, so it's part of it, but then also it was kind of a way to frame the
Yeah,
girls as well. Like,
okay.
even though it didn't go through and nobody
Okay.
got accused, they were like, Tabby
Yeah,
was
okay.
questioned, so I think it was a little of that, like.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I was just figuring if there
And
was
was
an like, another
Tyler
layer early on that I
was
forgot,
Tyler kind of the first one that A
like, totally
killed?
missed.
Really killed?
Um,
I think so.
ooh, well, the custodian
Yeah,
was
but no
one,
one knew that because no
too.
one mentioned him at all, so I'm saying,
Yeah.
like,
No.
I don't know.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's pretty significant, I suppose. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I think he
That was
killed
during
him
the days where
because.
he would just
Hmm?
yeah. No,
I
go
think
ahead.
he killed him because
Mhm.
he was a jerk, and that's a big thing for A, like the bully thing, even though
Yeah. Yep.
A, that's why they're like, "Oh, A's
Yeah.
supporting the girls." I was like, "No, A's trying to frame the girls, but also kill a bully because he
Mhm.
hates bullies." A hates bullies.
Right, right.
Um,
Yeah.
okay, where are we here? Okay. Imogen, yada yada yada. Tabby. Noah. Oh, yes. Oh, they said there's 66 people, right? And
Yeah.
then they're like, and then Farron's like, it's not Henry, and it's not Ash,
Mm-mm.
it's not
Mhm.
Sean. And then Imogen's like,
And
it's not
it's
Chip.
not the jocks.
Imogen's like, it's not Chip. And Tabby kind of was
Mm.
like, huh?
Mhm.
Tabby asks
I don't
Greg
know.
if he saw Chip at the party. Of course, Greg's like, I don't know. There were some.
Eh,
I don't know what he called him. He called him something. There were something
such
that crashed the party. I was like,
yeah.
no, you're the tool. Whatever word you used, you're the tool.
Yeah, you're a
Yeah.
tool. Yeah.
So then we have Mouse. Steve calls her. They found Rachel's body in a landfill. He asks to see her. She
Yeah.
says, of course. So then we have Imogen. Sheriff calls. Someone exhumed the body. Imogen passes out. It's terrible. The
Mhm.
Mouse. Steve brings her to the Red Ranch Hotel. That's the only hotel in town.
Oh. Yeah, that's it.
He wants
Red
to
Ranch.
role play with her and apologize to her. He asks her to put on Rachel's clothes. Farron, her dad was arrested. His tail light was out. Said he resisted arrest, but it's probably Sheriff Beasley getting back at her. But I was like, I know she gets freaked out, but I'm like, she has this bad dirt on him, like, and he's
Yeah.
messing with her. Like,
Yeah.
Ash goes to Mouse's mom's house, or yeah, wait a minute. He goes to the how are they still together? How are they both together? Wherever Mount Ash went. I don't know if it was a house. Anyway, basically, he's concerned. He can't reach Mouse. Says she ditched school. She had a
Right.
crazy night with her dad. And Elodie's like, "What?" She's like, "Steve's not her father." So then she tracks her phone.
Yep.
Then we have Noah catches her mom with a dealer. They're just chilling on the couch. That's Grace apparently.
Yep.
Her dealer's name is Grace.
Yes. That's the, sponsor.
She's like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, Grace sponsors me
Yeah.
with drugs."
Yep. Here he is. Ugh.
Mouse, um, basically they go into what the heck do I have here? They go into the hotel room and they
Yeah,
get
they
Mouse.
bust through and, like yeah.
But I have something back.
It wasn't as,
No,
dramatic as I
they're
thought that
just
they
like,
were gonna make
"No,
this at
no."
all. It's like it was like
It
an
was
abduction or
anticlimactic.
something, and something bad was
Yeah,
gonna I was kinda like, "Oh, okay, so they just answered the door and it's
yeah,
over. Okay,
yeah,
let's move on."
right. It wasn't like he was preventing her from leaving with a knife. I mean, he didn't want her to leave, but, like,
Eh
yeah, I don't it was kind of funny.
right,
I
it
wrote, like,
was
stars
yeah.
here. I'm like, flashing back and forth to Imogen and Farron. Oh, I guess the next couple scenes, it goes back and forth from Farron to Imogen,
Mhm,
and,
mhm,
Farron goes to Kelly's and tells her and her mom about the sheriff, and her mom knew, apparently. Mom says he's always had
mhm.
his demons, even in high school when he forced himself on that girl to prove something. We find out it's
Mm,
Angela. And then we have
yep,
Imogen. She's dreaming about the cemetery. I guess she's in the nurse's office,
mhm.
right? Because she had passed out.
Yes,
Uh,
yep,
and about A and her mom, and then her dad calls her, and we find out her mom's now he calls him her high school sweetheart. That sounds more
mhm,
serious than what they end up saying about him in, like, the next episode. Davies,
right, so
he's like her high
basically,
school sweetheart,
Beasley
and there's a picture of
was
them in the
Beasley,
yearbook together too. That's when she sees
correct.
it, so
Yes,
right, and so she's a picture of the year.
gross.
So, the moms play that relationship down a lot in the next episode. Spoiler
Y
alert, because 'cause I'm sure
yes,
you haven't watched it yet.
yeah,
I wanna pause
right.
the episode because everyone in the world has watched it who watches the show.
Mhm,
Okay, now let's move on to episode 10. Chapter 10, it's called Final Girls. It is December 31st, 1999. Angela is fighting with her mom. Her mom doesn't want her to go out. She's wearing
yep,
makeup, but she's showing off her body. She's like, "That's why you got attacked,"
mm,
and she's like, "My friends invited me," and she's like, "Your friends," and they're just arguing basically, and she has, like, the invite to the
mhm.
party, blah, blah, blah. But it was interesting because, like, she's fighting with her mom, then all of a sudden she turns around and she has, like, the makeup is all streaked
She's smeared
bad,
yeah,
like, bad in
yeah,
moments. like
Like,
that
really bad.
moments.
As if she was, like, really crying
Yeah.
quick, like, busting out the
Yeah.
I know yeah, it was almost yeah.
Instantaneous.
Mhm.
Then we go to present day. We're at Farron's house. Her dad is back, and he was like, it felt like a warning. So she's like, because she thinks it's because of her, which it is probably.
Yeah.
Tabby is at what's the origin, the Orpheum, asking Wes about that night, about of when she went to the party. She comes to find
Mhm.
he's like, "Oh, that night that you and Chip bailed on me." And she's like, "Chip was gone? Where did Chip go?" Find
Mhm.
out we find out that Chip is closing up that night. Farron then texts to
Yeah.
meet now. So they all go to the pizza place.
Mhm.
Farron tells them about Sheriff Beasley and Angela. Imogen tells them about her mom dating the sheriff. Or jerk off.
Yeah.
Oh, and then that her mom's body was dug up. They discuss who A could be. They kind of go back and forth, and then decide sheriff is a
Mhm.
suspect. They decide to question the moms again, but separately this time. So it was kind of like they
Mhm.
all connected it. It was a good little, not exactly a
Yeah.
montage. I'm not sure what it
And they
was.
kinda ping
Yeah.
pong around.
So Tabajan first
Yeah.
asks Sydney about it, and she's like, "Your mom had a lot of boyfriends. We all did. We were popular." I'm like, I don't think that was the whole story. Because Elodie then says, she
Yeah.
only dated him for a few weeks in the fall of senior year. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think
No.
if they made it into the yearbook like that, and he called him the
Mhm.
sweetheart. There's more to
Mhm.
that story. Marjorie,
Mhm.
Noah questions her about knowing about the rape, and Marjorie's like, that was the rumor. It was never confirmed. Oh my God. I don't know what my notes did. Under Corey, I have Baroness Corey, F Sheriff. What was I trying to say?
That's fantastic. That's amazing. Can you, translate that for the rest of us?
Questions, not sure if the
Mhm.
sheriff did it or not. Just said that's what Angela said, maybe
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to write. Because I do have Corey says that's what Angela said. Um, asks about and then I guess Farron asks her maybe about the breakup of Tom and Davy, and Corey's like, "Well, they
Yeah.
broke up right after Davy heard the rumors." And parents said they should go to the authorities, and Corey says, "20 years later?" And then she's like, "You need to quit while you're
Mm.
ahead." So again, they're trying to
Yeah.
stop them from doing things. Then Kelly texts
Yeah.
Farron to meet up. Farron and Kelly meet up, and basically Kelly and her mom are under house arrest with the sheriff. I don't even know how she got out of the house because of what she said to him. Farron says that her dad was responsible for Karen's death. She tells her about the crazy masked killer and Tyler and Henry. Oh, Tyler got killed and that Henry wasn't the one that went after her. Tells her that A was the one who pushed Karen. Telling her this because he is avenging the death of Angela Waters and all the people who hurt her, and clearly her dad was one of them. Farron says they need to figure out a way to get her and her mom out of the house. Then we go to Tabajan. Tabby tells Imogen that she thinks it's Chip. She really feels
Yep.
this in her bones, right? And Imogen says whoever did it
Yeah.
did take her underwear. So they decide to
Right.
go to Chip's house. They go through all stuff. I love
Mhm.
the moms
This
wearing
was
like the
funny.
crazy ugly sweater,
What?
Christmas sweater. She's
The
like,
Christmas
"Hi, girl.
sweater.
Sure, come on in."
Come
I
on
know.
in.
"Come on, it's this pig's it's a sty." Um, Tabby
Yeah,
finds
he obviously he's got a room
Yep,
in the basement or something,
yep,
right?
the weirdo in the
Yeah.
basement. Tabby finds weird, gross movies that are
Ooh.
hardcore, rapey horror movies, which I didn't even know existed, but there you go. They confront Chip.
Ew.
They just basically want to know why.
I
Yeah, they
loved
really
this.
just finally, he does come out. I mean, we find out it's him.
Listen, these girls are
Yeah,
bold.
yeah,
They are not,
they're not messing around.
yeah, they got
Yeah,
some
good
yeah,
for them. So
good for them.
they just want to know why he did it. He did it to Tabby
Mhm.
because he just wanted to be close to her. Like, yeah, she's like,
Buy her
yeah,
flowers or
come on
something.
now.
I don't know, like,
Well, she wasn't having it.
ask her
Oh my God, he's so
I know
yeah. No,
I
it's
okay,
terrible.
yeah,
I'm
I know.
saying it's a
It's
terrible,
gross.
terrible, terrible,
It's very
very twisted.
twisted, yeah.
Imogen,
And I love that they have Chip who looks like this, like, down home
yeah,
country boy or, like
I know, it was a good
Everybody's
it's
chummy with
yeah,
Chip. It's
it's very
very
upsetting.
upsetting, but
Well
well
played,
played,
well
I will say.
casted,
Yeah.
well everything,
Yeah.
you know
It just looks like everybody's friend, sort of
right.
quiet-ish.
But he like, in real life, though, like, he's a good-looking guy. Like, I don't think he'd have problems trying to
Oh,
get
yeah,
somebody.
and he plays a completely
I
different
know.
character in
Yeah,
that other show I watch.
completely
Completely
different.
different.
So,
So,
basically oh, he did it to to Imogen because like, she was there. Like, basically, she was there and passed
yeah.
out, so that's terrible.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
he's like, "I'll never do it again."
Gross.
Um, basically, they tell him off,
Mm.
they call him psychotic, or Imogen calls him psychotic, and then A shows up.
Mhm. Yeah, that
And
was
he's like,
great. Great timing.
and he runs out, and he's like, "What the?"
Yeah.
And, they tell A, he hurt
Mhm.
them the same way that Beasley hurt Angela. So, A goes after Chip.
Mhm. Again, we're just gonna stand right in front
Yeah,
of this killer,
yeah.
and he's not gonna
No,
hurt
not
us
at the
right
moment.
now, but,
Has to be very
no, right not
dramatic.
right now, so if you could just
Like, "We know you wanna kill us too, so but could you just hold off and go
right,
after him
just
first?" I mean,
hold off on that.
instead
Just
of killing us and then
we got
killing him,
something else
just
to
go after him, please,
tackle.
please. We'll catch you later. We'll
Yeah,
catch you later when we rip
yeah.
off try to I know, it's like yeah. Um,
Yeah.
they're in the cafeteria the next day, and everybody gets the lowdown. A texts them that they broke our quote unquote rule, and final round is tonight. The rule breaker was Farron, by the way, because she went
Mm,
and said that
mhm,
I think that A killed Tyler. I think she told on that part, right? Wasn't that
mhm.
the part? I think.
Yeah.
Then there's an announcement from the principal that lead paint was found in the walls and it's going to be fixed over break. They're like, "Oh my god, it's so toxic." I was like, "What?" Uh, yeah. So they
Weird.
decide to go back.
Weird.
Mhm. They decide to go back
Mm,
to the Waters house to look for more info because it's a great place
yeah.
to go.
We're going
Let's just
back
go back. Most
in the
disgusting
daylight.
place. At least it's
It's
daylight.
better, thank goodness, and we're all together, but no
Mm-mm.
knives this time, we're just
Eh.
gonna go in for it.
So they're at the Waters
Hope
house
for the
and,
best.
all the girls are there, and oh, as the girls are there, this was a cool scene too, like, they're showing the girls at the Waters house and then each mom getting, like, kidnapped, basically, like, taken by A. This is and the
Yes.
music was cool, I don't know what the
Yes.
song was, but it was good.
Yeah.
So, just wanted to put a little side note here, so Sydney, when she gets grabbed, she's decorating the tree, and I didn't think much of it, but man, in that Facebook group, they were like, "What who the heck puts their tree up on December 15th?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, I was so I guess everyone's like, "I put my tree up
Right.
on Thanksgiving." And I was just like,
Yeah.
"This is your criticism? People don't all put their trees up on Thanksgiving."
That
So
is great. I will say though, I'm like, uh, well, I don't even have a word to describe the feeling, I suppose, but, if I'm driving around the holidays and it's like December
oh.
23rd, 22nd, I'm not kidding. I'll see somebody that just chopped a tree down, and I'm like, Seriously?
Well, back in the
2
day,
days before
people would
Christmas, 3 days?
put them
Like,
up on
I
Christmas Eve. I know
know,
it's not back in
but
the day, though. I know, no, it's like, what's the point?
I know.
What's
I
the
mean,
point?
we do the whole,
Yeah,
like,
me too.
artificial thing, but, I mean, I mean, talk about a Charlie Brown tree at that point. I mean, there's half of the needles are flying off of the car. Um, but
That's
yeah,
funny.
that's funny that
Oh, it
they
was
brought that
because
up,
at
that
first I
that
was
was
like,
the
I
criticism.
don't get
That's, like, something I would criticize.
but
Mhm.
it just was a weird I was like, "It is December," and I was like, I just
Yeah.
didn't think that was I just
I
was
I
surprised because
will
that's
say
something
some people I remember, people with December birthdays, if they fall in that
Mhm.
weird, like, 10th,
They would
12th,
wait.
whatever, like, sometimes they wait until after.
Yeah.
Like, I know Matt's sister's birthday, I don't think she doesn't do this anymore, but I think that there have been times where she's, like, waited till after her
Yeah.
birthday maybe.
Yeah, I could see
She doesn't do that anymore. Her house is, like,
yeah.
decorated after Thanksgiving, but, some people will do that. They'll be like,
When I
"Oh,
was little,
so
we
maybe
definitely didn't
her
put a tree
birthday."
up so close to
Mm.
Thanksgiving. We also would always get a real tree.
Oh, it was day after
We always had
Thanksgiving.
real trees. No
Listen,
way.
mom was cranking out the Christmas tapes on
Yeah.
the tape deck, the
Yep.
Ghetto Blaster, whatever have you,
Mhm.
the whole system, and that house was decorated
Yeah.
top to
Yeah.
bottom.
But Even
day
I know I'm
after
not a lot
Thanksgiving.
older than you, but it was
Oh, I
different.
loved it.
People didn't decorate
Yeah,
so early. I think it's
yeah,
just become more and more commercialized and
yeah. I mean, the decoration's
oh,
already
yeah.
coming out.
Oh,
Like,
Halloween
Halloween's
was out
gonna
in
be, like, real
August.
quick
There was
and
Halloween decorations. They're like, "Let's just
yeah,
rush time, please.
yeah.
Let's just get off this
F
earth."
back to school,
July.
legit, it was the weekend we got
Oh,
out of
yeah.
school, June
You're
20
so sweet.
whatever. I'm not kidding you, we got out on a Thursday or Friday. I legit went to Target on Saturday or Sunday, and they were out. They had a whole display at Target that
Why are
weekend
we
back to
rushing it?
school.
It's like you could just
Before
imagine
it used to
plow
be
time. Do you need a plow? Do you need a snow plow? There's no snow, but it's still plow time. You need to reserve the plow for the non-snow that's not
Yeah, they
here
got
yet.
all the salt out right now, shovels.
Okay.
The leaves
They're
are
like, "Happy
barely
New Year.
changing here.
Let's go."
I mean, thanks. You know what? We're gonna put out the let's just
Yeah,
jump to
let's
Valentine's
let's
Day. You know what?
just
Listen, let's get an aisle of everything going down there.
in fact,
Oh my gosh.
it's
Anyway,
2024, okay? Let's not even go through 2023 at this point.
let's just skip over.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
see what happens.
The
All
way
right,
the
keep going.
years have been going, maybe we should, like, skip a year. Maybe we could trick the universe and be like, "No, it's not 2023. Whatever you were planning to do in 2023, it happened already." I don't know about you, you missed it.
That's
Blink an
right.
eye and just okay. All right.
Oh, that's great.
Imogen finds 2 sets of height measurements written on the wall. There's another A. Waters.
Mhm.
So, like, there was another Angela. Did they say that?
Yeah.
No, they didn't say that, did they? Did they actually say there was another Angela?
Yeah. Something.
Or just A. Waters? I love too
Something.
that they don't put the kids' first names on the wall. They put the A. Waters because
No.
people do that.
Yeah.
But
Then we have one of
did you
those
put
and we do our
D?
names. No.
Of course not.
It's their
First
front
their
name.
front
Their
name.
front name. Their first name.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, nobody puts initials. You put your
I
kids'
know. But
names
of
next to
course,
it, not like their,
it's
their
mysterious.
first
We
name.
gotta keep it going here.
Well, I know.
There's crayons.
And they found the
Oh,
picture
they find
too
a
under the
picture,
oven, right?
but first they find crayons in the animal
Of
cage. They find
two.
crayons in the animal cage. So,
Yeah, that was
and then Imogen goes,
gross.
"We are so close." That was another thing that would make fun of in the Facebook group that she's always like, "I
Yeah.
can feel it. We're so close." But this time they really
Yeah.
are close because it's the 10th episode. So we know that she's right in that part.
Mhm.
We know
We know
she's right.
something's going down.
That's when, yep, she finds a picture of 2 kids dressed like Raggedy Ann and Andy for Halloween. Of course, they have masks on, so we can't see faces at
Yep.
all.
We
Nope.
don't see them.
They're figuring out that Angela was not an only child. Then they get a text from A, says time for the trial, and it's a picture of the school. Then A sends them a
Mhm.
picture of the moms passed out in that van, in that red van.
Yeah.
All right. Now we go to the
Yeah.
school and they're standing out front.
Again,
Stand out front.
they don't
No.
grab a
They're like,
weapon or any sort of like, I'm gonna protect myself. We're just going right
my
in.
butt hurts so badly from this chair, I just have to say. I'm in the most uncomfortable position ever for this.
Sitting on like a bar stool
No,
or
it's
something? What do you
one of
got?
my
Like a
chairs, but the cushion's not very cushiony. Okay. What I
mm,
do for this podcast. Why? Again, why?
mm,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I just love it. I do. I do love it.
I just
I love seeing you
eh,
in
you
your
know.
dimness. Okay. So Imogen says, one way or another, this is ending tonight. And I said, yes, it is, Imogen, because it's the last episode of the season. So it better. Okay. So Imogen texts Kelly for possible backup. There is
Mhm.
a table set up in the front of the, when they walk in. It actually looks really cool. Like there's
Mhm.
this red light, there's all these candles. A lot of work.
It's
A
like the
lot of
prom.
work went into this.
We've
So
got table
props to A.
settings. It was almost like a
Yeah.
wedding when you come up and,
Yep.
like, you
And
see
they all
your
have
name
notes.
for,
Yeah.
like, you're at
Mhm.
table 8 or,
Took
you're with the
this
mutants
was a
at
lot
table
of work
12 or
on the part of the A team
yeah.
because it's a team. The
Yeah,
A team.
the A team,
Yeah.
and they
They
have
have a
a
van.
van
No,
too. I'm
there's some
sorry.
similarities there. Some
Oh my
parallels.
was the A
I
Team's
thought it
van
was
black
white.
or red? No, that was Who's the Boss.
Oh yeah.
It was a white van?
I have white in my head.
Who's the
I have
Boss
no
was a
clue
black
if
van.
I'm right. We should have
I
Googled it.
can't remember.
So they each have a
Anyway,
note
keep
telling them
going.
to go into different rooms. Of course, they're going to split them up. They get a text from A saying that all bullies must be punished tonight, starting with yours. I mean, this was a really good, like, this whole I can't even call it a
Mm.
scene because it went longer than a scene. It was just a really
Th
cool way to end
Twisted, but
this
good.
show.
Yeah.
So Chip is tied up.
Yeah.
I know he's a creep, but man, he looked damn good without a shirt on.
Mhm.
He's got
Mhm.
fangs. I
Mhm.
mean, they made him look
Mhm.
hot.
Yeah.
Anyway, because I'm a perv. Okay. The note says to carve an A into his chest.
I mean,
No,
he's
he's a
really
good
in
looking.
his older
I
you
know. Oh no,
and
I know.
yeah,
I know he's not a high school kid.
he's
I mean, too, like
he's just
his
okay.
character in this is a disgusting pig, but like he's a good look. He's not really that character,
Correct.
everybody,
Correct.
So I'm just
Correct.
enjoying the scenery. I
Yeah.
had to take a picture of it. The
Yeah.
note says to carve an A into his chest. Noah has the drug dealer there, and there's all these syringes. It says give him a taste of his own medicine.
Yep.
Steve, his note says he played
Mm.
cat and mouse with you. Now it's your turn to trap him before he does it again. Farron, Madame Giry is there, and it says she bullied you to be perfect. Time to make her imperfect. I don't know why the M is.
Mhm. Did she have, like, a drill or something?
Yes,
I
I
can't
put a
remember.
drill with question marks. Okay, so I took a picture. You
Like,
can't.
what was she gonna drill?
No idea. Her back, maybe, because
Okay.
Farron has a bad back. I don't.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you know what's funny? The first time around, I
Uh-huh.
remembered this, but I
Okay.
didn't really. So it was like it was good to watch it a second time. So Imogen,
Mhm.
this part was the worst.
Oh, this was
Her
horrible.
freaking mom's body is there in the
Gross.
gravestone, and it says, "Think your
Yeah.
mom wasn't a bully? Look in her mouth, and she'll finally tell you the truth." And there were those tongs, right?
Tongs.
Like that you see.
She's the only one that actually did
Yeah,
something. She went in
yeah.
for it.
She
Oh,
kind of had to.
glad they didn't show
Oh,
that.
thank
Thank
God. Yeah.
goodness. Thank you
I mean,
for
this poor.
sparing me because I was ready to cover the screen. Okay. Okay.
The girls are all back in the hallway. None of them did it except for Imogen. Um,
Mhm.
Gets a text, "Well done," that they showed mercy, tells them to go to the auditorium for the trial. Their moms are there.
Mhm.
A is there, and then the principal. Ta-da!
Told
I
you.
know. Yes. Yep, you were right, and it was
Told you.
I texted, Diana after she's, like, watched it, and I was like, "You had said it was him, and you said maybe he was her father." Like, you had it there. You had it.
Mhm.
But then you were like,
Mhm.
"No, he's too
Mhm.
young," and I was like, "I'm not saying anything."
Yeah.
Um, but you had it. I to be
And you
on
had watched Ahead
Oh, yeah, I had
at
already
that point,
watched it.
right?
So, yeah, I knew
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
so you had it, you nailed it, and then you moved away from it. But I know for me, I was not shocked it was the principal because we were even
Mm-mm.
mentioning him, like, before, but I honestly, at that point, I really was like, "I'm not even gonna like, to sit there and go, 'Is it? Is it?'" I just was like, I can't anymore with all the information." I definitely thought
Yeah.
somehow I did think it was 2 people at one because of the text, to be honest, the text and just
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
timing,
yeah,
how it
yeah.
was too simultaneous, like, he'd be there and there'd be all that stuff, so I definitely thought there was 2 people. I thought that the masked guy was definitely related to her somehow, even if
Yeah.
even at one point I was like, "Maybe the masked guy's Chip," just because Chip would disappear, anyway, but yeah, it was I was not shocked it was the principal, but, like, this part of the episode, this was, I thought, really, really good. So, we find out.
I was a little disappointed they didn't unmask him,
Yeah,
but they say that he had a
only
face
a
that only
mother
a
could
mother could
love.
love or
I
something. I
had
was like,
heard
"Okay,
I
so"
think before I saw episode 10, they said, "You won't see him unmasked this season," they said. So, I knew he wasn't gonna be unmasked. So, that was it. A is for Archie, and, um I think he's called Archie. It's a reference to that Riverdale show. Riverdale, the
uh,
characters, because remember the same writer for this show creator created Riverdale, and Riverdale, all of the characters are named after the comic strip. Archie, Veronica, you know what I'm talking about, right?
okay.
Isn't it called Archie's or something? I don't
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway,
Yeah,
that's why I think it's
yeah.
Archie. Then they flash to Kelly. She's trying to leave the house. The dad won't let her. Then we go back to the
Ugh.
school. The principal is Angela and Archie's dad. There was Rose was pregnant as a teenager. So I was like trying to figure out his age. I'm like, oh, so I guess he's like 57. Yeah, because Angela
Mhm.
or 56, like, right? Because or am I yes, because Angela would have been around 40 and
Yep.
he was probably like 16.
Yeah.
So his family paid off Rose's family to leave town. He stayed in town and became a
Mhm.
teacher, then a principal. Rose wanted to come back and wanted Angela to go to the school there, just Angela, because Archie, like we know, apparently was deformed or something.
Mhm.
Um, he says she took her own life because of something the moms did. And it's time for the truth. Then they flash to Kelly. The sheriff
Yep.
has a gun out on the table, says only Karen understood him. No idea. Kelly says he assaulted a girl and Karen is dead because of his actions. And it's really true. Like
Mhm.
basically says if it wasn't for what he did, there'd be no killer. The mom gets up and walks away. This is another great part.
You knew
Yeah.
something was gonna happen.
Kelly says she's going to tell on him. He grabs a gun. He says he basically has 3 bullets. Like he plans to kill them all. And then the mom
Yep.
is like, no more. And she stabs him twice, which I didn't remember the twice part. I was like, oh my God.
Oh,
I was back in for more. I was
yeah.
like, yes. Finally, that mom steps up. It surprised me. I was really
Mhm.
happy. Her character
Yeah.
grew some, you know what?
Had a part.
Yeah. Principal back at school. Principal says Angela took her life not because of what Tom did, but something else. Imogen has the missing pages of her diary that say erase her on every page. We flash back to Kelly.
Mm.
She gets Greg from the pizza place, of course. Then we flash back. So Davy is asking, Davy goes up to Angela and she's concerned because she was assaulted and everything. And she's like, well, who did it? And she's like, it was
Yep.
Tommy. So they said that basically
Mhm.
Davy took it personally. Um, And then Davy's like, "That's not true." So she's like, she's lying. Davy just can't imagine that it was really happened. And she's like, we have to just pretend she didn't exist and they'll get the whole school to do it. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So Sydney is telling the story at this point, and she's like, there was one last public shaming, which was the party. Like they meet up at the swing set. They invited her to this rave. And when Angela gets to the rave, she's in distress, and Davy says to ignore her, and then she kills herself. That's when Angela kills herself. But what were they? We never find out what they were planning to do to her, right? Because for some reason in my head, the second time around, I was like, oh, were they going to do like a Carrie thing, like dump the fake blood or blood on her or
Mhm.
whatever? Actually, in Carrie,
Mhm.
it's pig's blood or something like that they dump on the girl. But we don't find that out. We don't find out what they were planning, right?
These are the points where you're like, back then, right?
Hmm.
Like, this is like, when I went to high school, the
Yeah,
same time as
same
these
exact
moms, right?
time.
Because I graduated in 2000.
Literally
I'm
the same
thinking,
age, yeah.
did this poor girl have nobody, nobody to talk to? Like,
Well,
earlier,
Crazy
like, when
Joe.
we started this, we were talking about, like,
Oh, you mean like a counselor?
you know what I mean? Like, to go to those we hear, unfortunately, we do hear about
Yeah.
cases where kids take their own lives, right?
Mhm.
And and I don't wanna get on, like, a whole soapbox about it. However, this is a shower and those sort of things. But I started to, like, think back, like, like, we were mean. Like, there was definitely times, like, where you did things, but,
Mhm.
like, people you had somebody to go to, a family, a friend. When you have nobody, like, how awful.
I know.
I think that I don't know, I think they did a nice job in the show, like, really, like, I don't know,
No, it
with
was
everything and
good.
this the way it's coming together, but,
Yeah.
like, it's just a good reminder, and I hope, sometimes, like, people that watch the show, you hope that there's, like, a certain audience that isn't watching the show. Does that make
Right.
sense? I don't
Yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah. Yeah.
because it's touchy,
Yeah.
It's yeah,
Yeah.
very sensitive,
Yeah.
subject on that flip
Yep.
side, but you felt awful and you hate these women, yet you wanna love these women
Right.
because they're the
They're
mothers of these
moms.
daughters, and
Yeah.
right, and we do know that they evolve and people do
Right.
grow up, and it's also a good message, like, people do change
Right.
from when you know what I mean? Like, from those
And
times, like,
and
of being just, but
Angela,
don't be nasty to
yeah, I mean,
people. Ugh, you never know what somebody's life is like or dealing with. It's just
yeah,
awful.
and the girl
Anyway.
who plays Angela, I mean, anybody in that position you would feel sorry for, but she's such a, like, there's something about her, like, you
Just
just
like
wanna
a
hug
little
her,
puppy
like, you just
dog.
wanna hug her, and she's
Yeah, and be like,
beautiful.
"It's gonna be okay.
She's yeah, it's
You
just
like,
she's
this is
heartbreaking. You see
nothing."
her
High school is
oh
just
god, I know.
ugh,
But,
compared to what is waiting. You just wanna tell
but then
people.
she has, like, the nutty mom who everybody thinks is crazy. It
Right,
just eh, anyway.
right.
So
Yeah, not a great
no,
setup, that's for sure.
yeah. And then Imogen
Mm,
says she did change. Her mother did change. She became a good person. And
mhm,
the principal says, "Well, sh
right.
didn't save Angela." And then since oh, and she wanted to know, like basically, that's when he says, like, "Davy killed herself," which I still doesn't sit well with
Right.
me just with
Mhm. The fact that her
her
daughter,
daughter had
like,
to
is
find
about to give
her. Yeah, her
birth to her
daughter's about to
grandchild?
give birth. The friend is there. Like, you do that to your daughter? And was so gruesome? Like,
Right,
really? It
right.
just that doesn't sit well with me either.
No.
So then, he says
I would have rather she be killed by a
yeah,
I'm just gonna
yeah,
say that, right? You'd have
yeah,
rather, like, she be
yeah.
murdered. Eh,
So t
to have to live with
I
that, like,
know,
my mother did
I
I don't know,
know.
keep going.
So
I
he's
could
like,
go
"Since
on and on.
Davy took the, cowardly way out, the, sins of the mother must fall upon the child." So he sicks Archie on her, right? And says someone's like, "Her child is innocent." I think Sydney says that, and he's like, "Well"
Mm,
the principal oh, oh, she said sorry, Imogen I don't know if I don't remember which one says it, but somebody says her child is innocent. I think it's Imogen. Then she also says, well, to the principal, like, "You erased Angela just as much as they did," which, yeah,
mhm,
hello? Like, nothing? He didn't do
mhm.
anything to help her at all, at all. Like, he could just be a concerned
Right,
principal. You know what I mean? Like, at the time
right.
that she saw things
Yeah,
happening to her, her
yeah,
being ignored when her stuff gets
yeah.
knocked over and she falls and, like
No, it's a great
yeah,
point. Nobody saw any of this stuff. Nobody stepped in. I mean, this
no
is a show,
grown-ups.
right? Like
Yeah,
in real life, let's hope that this
yeah.
would never
Jesus.
happen to this degree. Like there's just no way.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So
ugh.
then the principal says for the baby's sake, he'll give her a head start. So she starts running. Then they flashback she flashbacks, to her mom, telling her that the house is a safe place that she can always come to. So she's gonna go to her home. She's gonna run to her house, an abandoned not abandoned, but no one's there,
Yeah.
maybe no electricity.
No, those
Her
people didn't
mom
buy it.
died in it.
That's right. Nothing.
You wouldn't run to,
Yep.
like, the police station. Nope,
No, or
not gonna run
somebody
to the police
that,
station
like the
or a
pizza
hospital
place.
even, like,
The pizza place for
pizza
crying out loud.
place,
But
right? Pizza
let's
place
run to
clearly
my
is
house and go in the bathtub where my mom killed herself because that's a great place to go.
I know, I know.
Sometimes these
Like,
shows, I'm
what
like,
is going
these
on?
shows, like, you can't portray high school correctly, and now here we go.
No. Well, they're not trying,
I
apparently.
know.
Um, so then we're back at the auditorium, and Farron asks what happened to oh, what happens to us now, And he's like, I'm going to make sure that Angela did not die in vain and it never happens again. So then we
Mhm.
go, and then Imogen, meanwhile, she's screaming, she's getting chased, again, screaming her head off. No one's around.
Nope, nope.
Nobody hears her. Um, we're back at the auditorium. Tabby brings up the double standard that they should be going after Tom. And the principal's like, I plan to pin this all on him. And as he says, he'll get his, Kelly barges in saying he got his. And then the principal shoots Greg. It's not funny, but it was kind of funny.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Tabby,
Greg. Gunshot to the
Tabby had grabbed,
shoulder or something.
yeah, Tabby had grabbed Mr. Smithy's nameplate from the
Mhm,
desk. And
mhm.
that's what she smacks once the principal got like distracted because Kelly came in. But I was like, oh, duh, because the second time around, when she walks in
Yeah,
and Chip's there and everything, she reads a note, they really hone in on his nameplate. And I
yes.
was like, okay, you're in the film classroom. Like, what's
Right,
the point? Like,
right.
there's stuff that I really did not remember from this
Mhm.
episode. Um, so she does that. She knocks him out. Imogen gets to the house and hides in the tub, like you said, and has a knife at least, though, and
Yeah,
freaking stabs him. And of course, he still grabs her,
yep.
and like this bad, like struggle scene ensues. Not I'm saying bad, like bad acting, but like
No, it was terrible to watch.
stressful.
Yeah.
Banging, her tummy is banging
I
all over the place. That's all I
all
have to say. She
over.
falls
Just
on her stomach. She bangs into the doorway. I was just like, ugh, I can't watch this. She stabs him like in the head. Like
everywhere.
she stabs the side of his head, the neck. He bangs her head.
Yeah,
They slide down.
yeah.
Apparently her water broke
Mhm.
because the girls walk in. We're at the hospital. Of course, she has another nightmare that the baby was taken
Oh
by
god.
A, and there's Sydney and Tabby. So here we go. Of course, A and
Yeah.
the sheriff
I
somehow
was like,
survive.
"Seriously?
Yeah.
We couldn't have thrown a couple more stabs in
Pri
him real quick
Principal and Chip are
on both
arrested.
parties? We
Yeah.
couldn't have just made
No,
sure
I know. But
that they were dead?"
no.
Sorry.
But, like, get both of them like, A was
Face,
stabbed in the freaking
stomach, everywhere. I
face,
mean,
like,
his whole
head,
body, it
neck.
seemed like, had a yeah.
I know.
Mhm.
He's
Yep.
superhuman. So,
Yes.
the baby is safe and healthy. Oh, yeah, Clanton and Chip
Mhm.
are arrested. The baby is safe and healthy. Imogen holds the baby. Now they're all at the cemetery with the baby.
Yeah.
There's a montage with the mom. She's crying. Imogen's crying. Imogen's, I don't know what that dress was. It was absolutely
Mhm.
horrible that she was wearing. It was like a
Country bumpkin?
country, like country bumpkin, but it was like plaid
Yeah,
and
I
sort of
didn't
shiny.
I didn't really,
Did you notice
um
this? It was
she had so
the
many great
worst thing she
outfits.
had on. I mean,
Yeah.
I liked most of their
You know what I
clothes,
really liked?
and
Oh,
because
was
they
it
even if they were a
Farron
little
had that
funky.
beautiful, like,
What?
tank top, yet no, it was, like, a different
Burgundy?
but it was,
It
like,
was a
one
sweater?
sleeve. Yes.
Like
Was it
sweater, it was
burgundy?
ribbed?
Yes, okay,
Yes,
and
it
it
was
was
a
like a
wine
tank
color.
top.
Wine.
I don't
Well, are you watching on the phone again? Are you still watching on your phone? Oh my god.
Anyway, it was a tank top
Can
with a
you
shirt
not?
almost like
Can you get a laptop? Okay.
we need to we need to hop
Well, like, was it
alright.
purple?
We
Was
need
it
to hop on
lavender?
that app and
No,
find out where that we
no.
can get that shirt. I
It was
want that
wine,
shirt.
burgundy. Yes, Shop Your
Gotta
TV,
get
I'm
that.
sure it's on there. That was pretty. Yeah, I like her clothes. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it was an
Imogen
awful
really it's a terrible, and you're not remembering it, are you?
oh,
I'm
it
gonna
was
have to
not
pull it up. I should have taken
pleasant,
a picture
yes.
of it. Do you
It
remember
wasn't
it?
my fave, and I've liked some of her pieces.
I'm not gonna be able to pull this up. All right, let me finish it, and then maybe I can pull it up quickly. Okay. Um, later on, Chip's parents, we find
Oh,
out. Oh no, no, no! I went too far. I went too far.
are we
Sorry.
still at the
Nope.
house?
Now we're at
Oh,
Christmas.
Christmas
Christmas
time,
time.
yeah.
Greg is drinking from a flask, which I did not notice. They were like panning into the party. Again, I didn't notice that the first time. I was like, of course he is. He's drinking from a
Yeah.
flask. Imogen looks like a Christmas present. She looked very cute. She had on
Yes.
a green velvet
Yes.
dress with bows. They were
Yeah.
like in the middle going down. They were like rhinestones or something. I don't know. Diamonds. Very cute. They all discussed their favorite Christmas movies. Blah, blah, blah. Marjorie is checking into a rehab
Mhm.
center like the next day.
Mhm.
Everyone offers to take care of Noah. Corey and Zeke are back together.
Yeah.
Elodie and Shirley are starting couples therapy,
Yeah.
which I don't feel like they shouldn't have
They
announced
didn't
that.
need to
They could have
announce
just
it.
been like, no.
They could have just
It's a little
held hands
TMI.
and sang Silent Night, but okay.
Yeah. And then we have Ash says, which we go back to that phrase again. Can we finally declare that MASH is canon? Which I did not notice the first time around. Remember?
Yes.
Remember
Yes.
Noah says that?
Yes.
Canon, and I had to Google it.
Yes.
Later on, the ladies are sitting at the table, and they find out Chip's parents, of course, made bail.
Yep.
Tabagen wants to press charges. Corey's like, it won't be easy. Well, how did he get arrested in the first place then? Right?
Why would it not
He
be
got arrested.
easy? He was
So how could
already
they not
yeah.
press charges? So why did he get
I
arrested in the first? Okay, I don't
I
understand that part. Pro bono
blah bitty blah.
lawyers. I don't
Yeah.
know. All right. We find out, now this is not going to mean a lot to you, but the baby is being adopted by Aria and
Of
Ezra or
course,
Ari.
A
I'm not sure how
names.
they pronounce. She says Aria. Well, no. One is an A, one is
It has
one
an
is
A in
E.
their name.
But here's the thing. Yeah, but that has nothing to do
Oh,
with it.
okay.
So Aria and Ezra are characters from the original Pretty Little
Oh, okay.
Liars.
Okay.
So, but here's the controversy that comes up.
Oh.
Now, I read the first Pretty Little Liars book. I did not watch the show.
Mhm.
I'm into the second book. Basically, Ezra, who owns Ezra's books in Rosewood, Ezra was a high school teacher and Aria was a student. So I don't think there's a ton of years between them because I think
Okay.
he's pretty young, but still.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're like together, I do think in the series they get married and stuff.
Okay.
I don't have no clue what happens in the books. People are like, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
They're promoting, they're
Right. Oh,
supporting
okay.
these. inappropriate relationship. So some people were like, "Ah," like, loved that they named them as being the adoptive parents, and other people were, like, really upset about it, so
Mhm.
just wanted to throw that out
Mhm.
there. They are open to staying in touch with her about the baby.
Mhm.
Tabby asks Imogen if with her new mother intuition, does she think it's over? She's like, "Yeah." So
Yeah.
your intuition is wrong.
Yeah.
Because we go to the hospital,
Wrong.
Beasley's stabbed,
Yep.
A escaped.
Yep.
Looks like he kills Chip wearing a terrible Christmas sweater.
Awful. The family Christmas sweaters over there have got to stop.
And he's like, "Hi," like,
Yeah.
answers the
He's like,
door. "I was
"Hi,
just in
want some eggnog?"
jail for raping 2 girls. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Merry Christmas."
And didn't he kill the security guard too, A? Didn't they show or a
Yes, I
nurse
forgot to
or
mention
the
that.
nurse
So he
comes
could
walking in
no,
and
the
sees it.
nurse yeah,
Yeah.
and sees that. Yeah, so
So Beasley's
so
completely
couple
dead
things.
at this point? Do we think for sure?
That's what it looks like.
Okay.
So this is interesting because I hung out with Erica, the makeup artist,
Mhm.
and she said that that actor was, like, really great, Beasley,
Yeah.
and she's like, he's, like, gorgeous, he's really good looking, like, he really was made to look like a real
Douche.
oh, he's just
Yeah.
terrible, but she said that she named I think it was one of the writers, she said that she liked him so much that she was, like, almost, like, wishes somehow she could still have him back, like, for season 2, and I was like, "Well,"
Oh.
so I mean, who knows what their story ideas are?
Yeah.
Someone in the Facebook group wrote, "I wonder if that was all a dream, that last scene." And I was like and so I said to Erica, I'm like, "Well, if it's a dream." So
Yeah, okay.
so I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Again, the person who said it was a dream does not work for the show. I have no clue, but I know that people question, like, how could there be a season 2? They basically kinda summed everything up, and they were like, "We have plenty of ideas." And I have read, like, they said, "You're not getting the full story from the moms."
Mhm.
So I thought that was interesting. Now, I asked Diane, I'm like, "Think of some questions that you have questions about that maybe we could find out in season 2." So,
Right.
what are some questions you have
You know, well,
that you'd like answered?
that was for sure. I'd love to see his face. Um,
Yeah.
because then, I don't know. Uh, like to know more about the principal, that whole thing. I don't know, his
Mm.
story,
Mhm.
possibly.
Mhm.
Because he does nothing in that school, for anybody, but, yeah.
But
Uh,
decorate
that's a
really
good
well and
one. That's a
set stuff up.
yeah, that's a good one about, that possibly being a dream. Yeah, because you could see how this show could have it wrapped up in a way, but they leave it open in case almost.
Mhm.
It felt like so if that's
Yeah.
a done,
Yeah.
one and done, but they did leave it open. So those are a couple of things. Trying to think. Is Chip really dead? That's another question I have. And yeah, what about you?
Yeah, that whole thing, like, did that really happen? Are any of them dead? I wanna know who the dead body was on the bed with the doll at the Waters house. I hope to know
Mm,
that. Was it Angela? Uh,
is
is Rose still alive?
is Kelly really Karen?
Yeah, that was my other one. Is Kelly really
Even
Karen?
yeah,
Because that's still a
that still
question, and
seems like
even when Erica see, Erica made me think too, she goes, "Well, well, if it is Kelly," and I was like,
mhm.
because I kinda had thought it was closed, that it was Kelly, but
Mm.
and then when I watched it too the second time and she was like, too much Karen stuff
Yeah,
going
and then
on.
the whole, like, becoming Karen is really weird for me, like, but in the show, they do some
Yeah,
weird things, so,
right.
ugh. Uh, you wonder, like, if it was more, like, about the pressure of being Karen, and so she wanted to but then realized that Kelly had it worse than her I don't know, whatever, and then the mom,
I
like,
don't know.
what is her deal? The Kelly Karen mom.
Yeah,
What the heck?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the moms, maybe there'll be more of a part for them, but I know it's really not centered around them, so
But I think there will be because I
yeah.
think, like they said, there's more that the moms with the moms. So maybe it'll be a
Maybe
little God,
somebody
who knows?
dated A.
Archie,
Yeah, the twin or the
the
sibling.
twin who didn't come to
Or
school.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Did he have to stay in the cage with the crayons? Do you know what I mean? Like, did they
Well, I
raise him to be
think
like
it's him. I feel they did that
that's what I mean,
they
so
allude is that the word? That it was him in the cage, but
yeah.
was there another one?
Oh, God.
Is there another one? Triple A.
I don't Yeah,
Like,
I don't know, but, yeah, that whole thing is, like, really creepy. So they're basically training him as, like, to go through these motions, so he doesn't really have any sort, you know what I mean? Like,
they're training him to be like a dog, like a
correct,
dog, basically, like,
correct.
do what I say and
Yeah,
kill
and
and
get
yeah.
a treat and go sit down and color in your
Yeah,
cage. I don't,
yeah,
ugh, gross.
yeah.
And who know, right? Like with
Um,
Bob or whoever was in the train, whatever his name was. What was his
Joe.
name? Joe.
Joe.
Um, right, Crazy Joe. Bringing the food, like, what
He's
kind of
Joe.
food? Was there dog food or something? Like, were they really feeding him? No, I'm
Yeah,
just,
right.
what were they bringing
Yeah,
over
no.
for supper?
Where does the principal live? Well, the
Because the
principal's in jail.
bed, like, the whole bed with the
Um,
doll thing and the weird, like, yeah, the
and the
principal.
dead body, like,
So the
what?
principal doesn't
I
live
don't know
with
what's
his
going.
son, so to speak, but
I doubt it.
you know what I mean? Like,
I know.
has he moved
Yeah,
on?
it's a
Does he
lot.
have a life? Is he related to the Wes? What's
The
going on with
principal?
Wes? Wes has kinda come back in
Yeah,
somehow. Maybe Wes is
somehow.
like a cousin or
Um,
something.
Maybe.
Watch out.
And just wanted to point out, it seems like when it's in question if a show is gonna get a season 2,
Mm.
it always does seem to happen when we're podcasting about it, and we're still we're always still doing the first season when the announcement comes. I mean, this was a bit of a wait
Yeah,
for this season 2, like, people were hanging by a thread here.
yeah.
There was a whole movement with, um, Pretty Little Liars Original Sin Max. They were, like, on Twitter, they wanted people, like, it really depends on how much social media. It's, like, sad now, like,
I
people get
wonder,
jobs due
yeah.
to their social media accounts, and
I do
how big are
wonder
they on social media?
if they're when they're
That
gonna
had something
start
to do with
filming.
us?
I mean, we're actually, well, I mean,
Oh, it's
obviously,
supposed to be January. It's
they're
supposed to
coming
be
back to this
January.
area. They have to. No?
The the rumor is Newburgh, which is still kind of this. I know.
That's a big
I was
boo
like,
for
"Why?
us. Really?
Why?" And yeah, that's the rumor.
Okay.
Nothing
I
is
mean, I
set in
guess they
stone,
can,
but it's definitely January.
interesting.
Well, I can't say it's definitely
Maybe they
January.
don't have
Like, I know
the
that for
means
sure.
to do it up, like, it's not available or so, I don't know, the places that they're, I don't know, the studio maybe isn't available and they're
I
using a
asked her
different
that. I said,
studio?
"Why?" And she said it could be cheaper.
Okay.
Also, possibly it's a little closer to the city. She's really not sure. But again, that was the
Yeah.
rumor. That's not.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm kind of bummed.
that kinda stings for us.
It would be nice if it was up here.
Mhm.
All
Probably
right.
use the
Well, that's a wrap
external
for
shots,
this
but yeah.
series.
That's it. They'll probably still
Yeah,
use, like, the
that's a wrap.
outside shots up here. They could just recycle them or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Send
So we'll
somebody up
see.
there.
Maybe not. You never know. You never know. Don't be upset.
Do we need to get a permission slip for them to come back?
Permission slip. Yeah. So we had big discussions about our next show
Mhm.
because we are kind of waiting on the Sex Lives of College Girls. We're
Mhm.
pretty sure it's going to come out in November.
Yeah.
Kind of trying to time stuff because we're always behind. Maybe we'll actually be on top of it.
Seriously.
We went back and forth. We were really close to doing House of the Dragon because of peer pressure, because it's the biggest premiere in HBO history,
Mhm.
but neither Diana nor I have any desire to
Mm.
watch this show.
Sorry.
We don't never watched. Well, I did watch the first episode of Game of Thrones, but that I didn't like it. And so we are two of the two people who did not watch Game of Thrones,
Mhm.
and who I started to watch House of the Dragon. I was like, could I do it from the angle of I can't stand this? It feels like torture, like I'm doing a homework assignment that I just
Right.
want it to end. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not that it was bad. It's great acting. It's just not my thing
It's not our wheelhouse.
at
I
all.
mean,
The
listen,
names confused me enough.
look at the lineup that we've podcasted about. I
I know
mean,
it doesn't fall
it's
in this at all.
I mean,
So
we
we're
go in different directions,
we're
but not
kind of
like,
going.
yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of going in a different direction because I don't know when the season 2 there is a season 2 coming out of this show. It's called Somebody Somewhere. My sister actually had told me about it. She watched it when it first came out. She loved it.
Mm.
It's gotten great reviews. They're only half an hour episodes. Hopefully
Yay.
we can bang it out. Maybe we can make our episodes like 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I watched the first one today. I loved it. I wanted to go to the second one, but I'm like, "I won't right now."
Yeah.
So, that's what we'll be doing next,
Sounds good.
whoever is listening to this, and yeah, we're on YouTube, we got a website. Sex Lives of College Girls is out on the YouTube. It's all audio though, but and also the way I released them all at the same time, so they're not in order when you go on.
I saw that,
But
yeah.
I tried to put them in order on the playlist.
It's
Oh my
alright.
god, it was
It
I
is
don't
what
know.
it is.
I'd have to pull them all off and
Mhm.
put them all back on.
Yeah.
That's
No,
not fun.
nobody
So,
has time for that.
sorry guys. Sorry. It'll make it fun. You can
Yeah.
do a whole
It's like a little
search of 'em.
scavenger hunt.
Yeah. I guess that's it for now.
Alright.
Everybody have a good day, night, morning, afternoon. Bye.
Bye.